Alright guys, week one is finally here. You guys see how I prepared? It's go time. Now usually, I always start the champion of last year's league in the matchup of the week in week one. Unfortunately, I can't do that this year because, let's be honest, Micah's going to blow out Dershfeld. But I'm going to get to that later, but we all know it's going to be a blowout, so it's a matchup of a week, kind of weak. We can... Anyhow, let's get to this week's matchup of the week, which features perennial loser, but all-around good guy foreigner, Cologne Centurions versus last year's big disappointment, Mr. I had bad matchups, Fraggle Gabbo. Anyhow, ESPN is showing this to be a very high-scoring, very close matchup, with Gabbo favored 132 to 124, and that is without, mind you, Peyton Manning in Centurions lineup. Centurions is at home, so they do get the one extra credit point or home field advantage point. For those who don't know, Michael Dunheimer and Ryan, 1 point for the home team. Doesn't really come into effect very often. When it does, I usually get yelled at, and actually it screwed me over once anyhow. So, yeah, there's nothing really I can do about it. But anyhow, let's get into the matchup of the week. Like I said, Gabbo, Centurions, oh, it's going to be a slobber knocker. Week one is so important, right? Looking at 1-0 or 0-1, it has, you have a horrible feel about yourself when you lose week one. I mean, am I the only one who does? No, I'm not the only one, okay? You need a week one victory. And both these cats are looking for it. So let's dive into the matchup, huh? Let's dive into the matchup. Quarterbacks. We have two of their backups. Wait. Matthew Stafford isn't a backup on Gabbo. He's his leading star. Actually, right now he's not hurt, so it's actually a good start. If Matthew Stafford stays all 16 seasons, I see him in the top 10. But we're not going to talk about that. I think I talked about that before. Matthew Stafford predicted to get 16. You know what? I just don't think he's going to get 16. I really kind of don't. I'm kind of more leaning towards, he's going to be leaning towards that 12, 14 mark, double digits. And I'm going to tell you why. Hold on. You know what? I'm really disorganized. It's week one, guys. I'm sorry. I don't have everything, available for me at this moment. He's going against good Tampa Bay defense. A lot of running. Tampa likes to control the clock. Not going to be too much scoring fantasy-wise. I definitely see Matthew Stafford hovering around that 10-point mark. And then the other quarterback for Centurions is Josh Freeman, who is going against Matthew Stafford's team, the Detroit Lions. Freeman, if you didn't see before last year, he was one of the most consistent start-worthy quarterbacks. There was actually just an article on ESPN, very interesting to see who was consistently good. Josh Freeman, surprisingly enough, very high up there. Detroit's defense, yeah, it's getting better, but their secondary is still very, very suspect. Look for Josh Freeman to match or do a little bit better than Matthew Stafford this week. Now we go to the running backs. Well, Gabbo's got to be extremely happy to get Chris Johnson back, but Tennessee's already come out and said that they're going to limit Chris Johnson and how many carries he's going to get. Whether that's actually going to be the case or not too sure. You know how they like to ride Chris Johnson, but I definitely don't see him getting the 17 points predicted. I see him more around that 10, maybe 11-point range, just for the limit of carries. See him get in the end zone once, but the yards just won't be there, mainly because he's not going to be getting the rock as much. Maurice Jones-Drew He's going to be good in the very beginning because he's Maurice Jones-Drew, but the problem is he's still going to get hurt going against a good Tennessee's defense. Maurice Jones-Drew, I think, is going to get under 10 points this week. Kind of a disappointment, but you got to remember too, ESPN predictions are always really high in the beginning of the year, and they never really kind of live up to it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get 130 some points, and it's just not going to happen. Okay. You know, we'll see, but I definitely don't see it happening. McCoy against St. Louis's defense. St. Louis's defense, seeing that I'm a 49er fan, I got to see it a lot more in person. St. Louis definitely has a good defense. McCoy is on a high-powered offense. I'm still going to give McCoy a good 16-point game. Very, very solid. It's going to help bring up the other two players this week. Not going to happen very often with that stable that he has. But McCoy's going to be the top end of their running backs. On the other side, you got Centurions. This is his weak spot. When his number one running back is Ahmad Bradshaw, who is like a low-end number 2. Fred Jackson's number 2. And his flex, Kenny Britt. Not very exciting on either end. Ahmad Bradshaw going against Washington. It's going to be a really big controlling the clock. And I tell you what, he's going to be sharing carries with the Brandon Jacobs a lot this year. So I don't see Ahmad Bradshaw going over 10 this week. Fred Jackson from Buffalo going against KC. They're going to be falling down a lot in games, meaning a lot of throwing for Buffalo. Not sure I would want their running back. Give me 7 points for Fred Jackson. And Kenny Britt with going against Jacksonville. New quarterback, new system. McCown just hasn't been anything. I'm sorry, I'm going opposite. Hasselbeck is going to be starting. Still new system. Kenny Britt wasn't really his favorite target in preseason. We'll see how it works out. I still give him 7 points. Receivers, Roddy White, Mike Williams for Fraggle, Larry Fitzgerald, Kelvin Johnson for Centurions. Got to give the edge to the Centurions. Larry Fitzgerald, you know Colby's going to try to make a big splash, and what better way than to throw it to Fitzy. Kelvin Johnson going against Tampa. Doesn't matter who Megatron goes against. He's a beast. Give him maybe 14 to 17 points. Gabo, Roddy White going against Chicago defense. Chicago's defense is not Chicago's defense that everybody thinks it is. So give me, and Roddy, of course, is the number 1 receiver, bar none, Julio Jones or not. And Matt Ryan loves to go to him. Give me 12 points for Roddy White. And Mike Williams, Tampa against Detroit. Love Mike Williams this time. Actually give him 19 points this week. Count it. Tight ends, Jimmy Graham for New Orleans against Green Bay. You know they like to throw. Green Bay does not give up too many points against the tight end. Jimmy Graham is going to get his. He's going to get 6 points. Jermichael Finley against New Orleans. They got a lot of matchups going against each other here. Jermichael Finley with Green Bay going against New Orleans. Everybody is love Jermichael Finley, like skyrocketed him up. I haven't seen him prove it. I'm going to wait to see him prove it before I start throwing big numbers at him. I still give him 5 points. We'll see if it happens. Defenses, Chargers against Minnesota. Love that. Giants against Washington. Love that. 2 good defenses. Both are going to get around 10 points this week. Kickers, who the hell cares? Bottom line is, the winner of this matchup is going to be an early upset. It's going to be the Centurions over Gabo. Sorry, Gabo, but we both know ESPN ranks high on early often, and your running backs are suspect at this moment. It's not going to happen very often, but you're going to go down. You're going to go down fighting. 105 to 113 Centurions. Sorry. Good luck. Welcome to the 1-0 Club, Centurions.